Earlier this year, I reviewed the all-new SQ6, the more high-performance variant of this incredible Audi Q6. Now, I wasn't a big fan of the SQ6. I didn't think that its performance was all that scintillating for the price, nor did I think it offered that much value for the money either, considering there's a lot of good EVs on the market nowadays. But I think this is actually the sweet spot for the Q6 lineup. This dual motor all-wheel drive fixes a lot of the issues not only have I had with e-trons in the past, but also gives enough value for less money than the SQ6 while still giving great performance. So after a quick walk around, we're actually going to take this on a road trip in my area to test efficiency and what it's like to live with. And stay to the end because we'll look for deals in my area on the Q6, but we'll also put it on the spreadsheet to see where it stacks up against not only other EVs I've driven so far in 2025, but also all the cars I've driven. Is this a good buy? We'll see at the end. Under the hood of the Q6 e-tron quattro, that means four-wheel drive, we have a nice deep front here, 2 pockets. You have your battery terminals there, windshield wiper fluid, nothing too crazy underneath. You should be able to get about 275 miles, we'll see though, on these 20-inch optional wheels. Standard wheels though are as small as 18-inch wheels on the rear-wheel drive Q6, and Audi says you can get some pretty good mileage, over 300 miles quite easily in rear-wheel drive with the smallest wheels, and even the quattro can achieve over 300 miles with 19-inch wheels. The SQ6 I drove, I think, had 21-inch optional wheels, and that really hurt the fuel economy, or should I say energy efficiency of that model. 0 to 60 should be done in slightly under 5 seconds here. The butt feel, as we'll find out in a little bit, to me it's almost as quick as the SQ6. It's a fantastically powerful and torquey vehicle. Pound-feet of torque is over 500 pound-feet. Horsepower on this quattro is well over 400 horsepower. It's all the performance I would need on a daily basis. The power and torque numbers are great, range is great, but here's what's the kicker. You have a charging port on either side. They're both motorized. This side has the DC fast charging, the other side is just your AC level 1, level 2 charging port over there that you typically charge in your garage. This DC fast charging is a CCS level 1. It doesn't have the fancier, more widely available NACs, but even in my area, there's a good amount of CCS high wattage, kilowatts of fast chargers around me, as high as 350 watts. This cannot charge that fast. However, it's a huge improvement over previous e-trons. This thing can charge up to 270 kilowatts, do 10 to 80% in only 20 minutes or so. That's quite fantastic. These motorized doors though, I'm not a huge fan. It feels like they're gonna break. The motor doesn't sound happy. Love the white logo here on the Q6. It's too bad they couldn't find a way to tuck in that rear windshield wiper. Tons of cargo capacity. You can split the seats 40, 20, 40. I can fold them down with the levers back here. Underneath this area, charging cord, as well as what looks like a subwoofer, but tons of cargo space, especially if you fold down those seats. A nice little light up here as well. Nice sunshades back here. This black interior, which is not your only option here, but it's a bit dull, it's a bit monotone. Everything's blacked out, and some people like that, but it's not my favorite. It feels a little claustrophobic to me, despite having a gray roofline with a nice panel roof. There's a touch capacitive button up there. Typically we're using a sunglasses holder, but there isn't a sunglasses holder in here. But I have 2 vents as well as heated outboard seats, and these perforated seats are quite nice. Decent legroom, decent headroom. I think I'd be happy back here for actually a long period of time, which my daughter, who's, I don't know, a third of the size of me, she's coming along on the road trip today and she's gonna have plenty of space back here. Oh, and there are also USB-C charging ports way down at the bottom. Physical window switches, but touch capacitive panels for the mirrors and the memory seats. That doesn't bother me too much. Bang & Olufsen sound system here. Thigh extension, of course, power seats, but let's go ahead and get on the inside. Very nice door slam here in the Q6 Quattro. AC is blaring right now. I'm a big fan of that. Let's turn it back on. I forget, I feel like the vehicle's not on because it doesn't allow me to move the steering wheel unless I'm in drive. So I have to put it in drive to straighten the steering wheel, put it back in park. I do have a 360 camera here, it's quite nice. If you guys can see the volume knob, it's a reach. So when you're driving, it's a bit awkward. A little too much glossy black plastic. I also have a screen way over here that is really just, shoot, and I'll just turn it off because I'm not gonna mess with it. It's really just for the passenger. More screens does not mean more luxury. Most passengers are going to have a cell phone. They're going to have a tablet or a laptop if they need it. They don't need to be fiddling with the car. But this screen is tailored so much towards me that maybe that they would like to have their own screen. I don't know. It's kind of just a flex. Head-up display on the Q6 is absolutely phenomenal. Great font size. It's clear, it's crisp, it's bright. Another screen right behind here says at 92%, I have 259 miles of range. Again, we'll play with that today, as well as these paddle shifters. They do offer two different levels of regen braking, but if you just put it into B mode from the start, you'll have maximum regen braking. Touch capacitive buttons on the steering wheel. I don't mind them as much. You might be able to see behind me, there's a Mercedes product, and those touch capacitive buttons are more difficult to work with, and they don't give you a volume knob in that car like they do here. So I you know, from a user experience, it's not the best, but you know, it's not the worst either. However, because these vents are so low because of the big screen and the dash allocation space here, I have to turn off the vents here as well as the far end for the passenger so I can actually get proper airflow out of this vent here. It's a bit annoying, but that's just what I've discovered. This one's okay, it's up nice and high, but these are too low to adequately push to the face unless you turn these vents off for the passenger side. I do like this interior. I'm gonna say I do like it a little bit better than previous Audis with the double screen setup. I do like just setting the AC on auto. I like having my ventilated seats. This stays up at the bottom. It's not ideal, but at least it's fairly easy to play with. Not as good as rotary dials or actual buttons, nowhere close. It's okay. Nothing more, nothing less. Just okay from a user experience. So I'm gonna get my Android Auto going, and we're gonna get my daughter, and we're gonna go on a road trip. Take me to LaBelle, Florida.
Sure, LaBelle.
Google Assistant was speaking through the headrest, which is pretty cool. So the whole cabin doesn't have to hear. Do you like that, Eve? You think it's interesting? Yeah, me too. Also in the head-up display, it tells me like where I need to turn, which is quite nice. So in half miles, I need to take a left at the next street. So I love that technology here. But yeah, we're gonna go through Immokalee, which is kind of like our halfway point, and then we'll be heading straight up Highway 29 to LaBelle. And then what we'll do on the way back is come through Highway 80 through Fort Myers. We'll stop at a fast charging port. There are quite a few fast charging ports actually in Fort Myers, and then we'll be back home. By default, in the default mode here, which is the balance mode, that truck's a bit scary. Okay. In the default mode here, it doesn't give me my current efficiency. And I love having current efficiency of whether I'm in a gas car or an electric vehicle. So in order for me to pull up my efficiency, and it's the same way in the SQ6, I have to press the drive select touch capacitive button down here. And then I can go, oh, but it kicked me out of it. I can go to efficiency, okay? If I go to comfort, it takes away my, or even dynamic, of course, it takes away my miles per kilowatt hour reading. So, and the second you get into efficiency mode, it does cut the AC as well. So I'm just gonna have to be monitoring it properly as it is about 91 degrees, typical South Florida summer weather. There's also this is efficiency plus mode, which we do have an asynchronous front motor here. And the asynchronous front motor absolutely disconnects at highway speeds, or in most instances when you don't need all that acceleration. It's just driven by the permanent magnet motor in the back, which is about 300 horsepower itself. All right, but efficiency, I'll probably just be in standard efficiency mode, and you can see it does adjust the suspension height as well. Okay, so in comfort mode, it's probably going to give you the highest suspension setting too, but there are buttons in the cargo area to raise and lower the vehicle with the air ride suspension. The air ride suspension makes for a very cozy and comfortable ride, but we'll talk more about that once we get on the highways. But in this efficiency mode, this is where I like to be. It tells me where I'm at with my average miles per kilowatt hour. Since I started the car, it hasn't been great because it's been a lot of AC. It's only at 1.8 miles per kilowatt hour, but we have a long ways to go. Eve just found out that we're going to be in the car for about 3 hours with this road trip, and so we'll get a much better average reading here after we drive this car for a few hours today. But I'll make it worth Eve's time. We'll maybe get some lunch in LaBelle, and you can get like some ice cream. Does it sound good? Yeah, she just smiled. She's like, I didn't know it was going to be a 3-hour trip. You got to leave out the details sometimes until yeah, it's too late. Anyways, let's get back on the road. We've entered into some rougher roads here, and I do hear some plastic vibrations going on. So this vehicle, even though the wheels aren't too overly large, 20 is still big, but not that big for today's standards where things have 24-inch wheels. But yeah, it's a bit harsh in here right now. The road obviously is the major factor. We just came off of a butter smooth road, and it was just like melting in here. And now I have quite a bit of vibrations coming through the vehicle. All right, the pedals have a little bit of vibration, steering wheel a little bit, but not too much. But it is taking us away from that luxury experience. If you have the 19 or 18-inch wheels, it would handle this sort of rough road a little bit better. And then it's also increasing the road noise in here. But like I said, it's mainly the road's fault. But it's extraordinarily noticeable where we live, because we'll have stretches of pristine road where it's just like you're driving on glass, and then you hit a less than perfect road, and it shows real quick where it might have some weaknesses. So we're back to now a really smooth road, and none of that vibration's creeping through. So just something to keep in mind if you have rough roads in your area. Maybe drive this vehicle first to see how it handles it, and if you get any plastic vibrations through your cabin. Yeah, there are alligators around here. Yeah, the one we just passed was splattered on the road. You don't see alligator roadkill that often. I did see an opossum roadkill back there, but most of the stuff we've seen so far has been alive. We saw the donkey, the cows, all sorts of types of birds. May have seen a dead coyote though. That one's kind of sad. Yeah. Yeah. Huh? Well, yeah, a car hit it. It was on the side of the road. Yeah. No, most people don't mean to hit things, because you can damage your car, you can get in an accident, but also people don't like killing things most of the time. So yeah, most roadkill is complete accident. I've hit a gator before. Yeah, that was actually in LaBelle where we're going. It was probably a 4-foot. Yeah, I didn't know what it was until it was too late, and I wasn't going to hit it, but he decided to run in front of me, so it happens. We have our first opportunity for passing, so behind this rogue here, and we'll go full pedal down. Eve says don't do that. It's so fast, and I'm just gonna have to get on the, well, it's gonna get back down to our,
Don't make me sick.
I'm not gonna make you sick. I'm not gonna throw it in the turns. But yeah, cruise control, I'm gonna have to turn it off anyways because it's going down to 45. But you just have endless, well, I wouldn't say endless, you just have I would say a perfect amount of passing power for the average driver. All right, I know the Audi driver is not your average driver, but I would say even then you're still gonna be very happy with the 500 plus pound-feet of torque that you have available here.
We're getting into like a place because I see like signs everywhere.
Yeah, so we're driving into Immokalee. Immokalee is a very poor town, but there is a casino here, which is kind of cool. It's the closest casino to where we live.
All 35 minutes speed.
Mama, when she went to college near here, she would come into this town because it's the closest real town to where she went to university. And so there is history here. You know, I've been here many times. There's a casino right here, a Seminole Casino in Immokalee. Yes, it's Immokalee, I believe, is getting nicer and nicer. It is getting more affluent, but it is still a very poor place. All right, so it's kind of sad, but you know, most of Central Florida, you know, is very poor. You get away from the coasts, and poverty goes up. But like, if you wanted to live in Central Florida, like, it's also, you're gonna have good weather. It's gonna be hot, but you know, you're not gonna have that much of overhead. It's cheap to live in places like Immokalee compared to places closer to the ocean. And they typically have good food here. It's always fun to see a rare vehicle nowadays. This looks like a first gen 4Runner in front of us, with, you know, kind of that topper on the back. Essentially it was a Hilux with a topper on it. Pretty cool vehicle. So we're listening to some JT there, Summer Love, and this sound system sounded so artificial to me. So I went through the sound settings. Messing with the treble and the bass and the subwoofer stuff didn't seem to do a whole lot to remove the eerie sound. You have to turn off 3D effect, otherwise it sounds like you're in an echo chamber. And then I also turned off surround sound all the way, and then it started sounding more normal. Despite that, the bass in here is very underwhelming, and even despite having subwoofer control, like, there's just, this system does not hit hard whatsoever. The mids and highs are pretty good though, and it does get loud, but I would expect more from a luxury sound system. Okay, Eve, we've made it to LaBelle. What kind of food should we look for lunch? Cheeseburgers. Okay, that's a pretty easy thing to find in theory. I haven't been to LaBelle in years. Look at that old, what is that, an Oldsmobile? Cutlass? I got a Ford dealership there. See a lot of used cars. Some Broncos, Bronco Sports. A lot of trucks out here in truck country. Good old Family Dollar. A pizza shop. Doesn't look open. That looks a bit sketch. Good thing you didn't ask for pizza. There's an RV resort here. Not in an, oh, here's a Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealership. Lots of Jeeps. Jeep. Quick lube. Well, we don't need an oil change on this car. Oh, that's a beautiful firehouse there. Hungry Howie's, not my favorite place either. We gotta find a burger place. Like, what's this?
Burger King.
The Red Rooster, breakfast and lunch. I bet they have burgers there. Do you want to try that place? Okay, well, there's also McDonald's. Now, I am a bit since I'm in an Audi, I'm going to be a bit snobby. And let's see if we can go to the Red Rooster here. Is the Red Rooster also connected to this motel? Oh no, that's maybe a daycare that used to be a motel. Wow, what is this? You see that this is like a McDonald's house. I've never seen anything like that. Is that like a nonprofit McDonald's house or something? No, it's not very good for you. There's a nice LS 430 over there. But driving the Q6, super easy, especially when you have the max regen on around slow areas. You don't have to hardly ever use the brake pedal. There's no one pedal driving here, but here we go. We're gonna accelerate to the Red Rooster. There's no obnoxious fake noises or anything like that either, which I'm pretty happy about. There are some, but unless you're in like the dynamic mode, you're never gonna hear them. And if you need dynamic mode, maybe you should be in the Q6, but shall we park in the shade, Eve?
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
That we don't have a rooster.
Here, we found some shade over here.
Roosters like attack you.
Roosters attack, yeah. We have hens at home, we don't have roosters. All right, let's go get some food. All right, leaving the Red Rooster after some delicious burgers. Eve, did it meet your expectations?
What does that mean?
Did you? Sorry, I accidentally triggered it. Eve, did you enjoy the burgers you had at the restaurant?
Yeah.
You did? Okay, good.
It was yummy. I like the fries.
EV charging station.
There's ChargePoint charging station 0.5 miles away.
Yeah, so
Want to navigate there?
no, thank you. So there's some in
What
LaBelle.
about ChargePoint charging station 25 miles away?
No, thank you.
There's Electrify America charging station 30 miles away.
Wow,
What about there?
she's not giving up. She's saying you're gonna get a charging station whether you like it or not. Show me charging stations in my area. No thanks.
Giving up.
No. She's like, I'm gonna force feed you every station possible in the near area. I don't need to charge right now. I have 220 miles, but I'm gonna wait till we get further back home. In fact, I might as well just wait till we go back home, because there's a charging station off the interstate near our house, and so I kind of want to run down the battery to the most that I can. So we're gonna take this area or LaBelle back to Fort Myers, and then head south from Fort Myers to Naples, and we should be, I mean, I looked, yeah, it finally stopped giving me options. I looked in the area, there's so many charging stations. Having an EV where I live is not a problem whatsoever. Oh, you like the orange Jeep?
Yeah,
Yeah,
orange Jeep.
orange Jeep. It's a family favorite.
Might be
It's a Rubicon, yeah, look at it go. Gas is cheap here, $2.83. Well, we're not. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, fast charging this thing is going to cost a heck of a lot more than gas if we were in like something like a hybrid. But it is what it is. You know, hybrids don't have the amazing amount of power and thrust this has. So you have your pros and cons with every vehicle and every propulsion type. Breaking my back just to know your name. 17 tracks and I've had it with this game. All right, we got the cruise control set here. You can do, with a half press up, you can do individual mile per hour increases. If you do a full pull up, it'll go up in 5 mile per hour increments. It's the same thing on the way down. If I do one down, it'll do 1 mile an hour down. If I push it all the way down, it'll do a 5 mile an hour. So it's good to have that sort of customization. And this Lexus just kind of pulled in front of us, and so the car's radar cruise control is already decelerating. We were going about 73, and we're now doing 69. So it's doing a good job pacing. It's also doing. This is one of the few places we have turns in Florida. How's it going to do with the steering? And then the Lexus getting on the brakes at the same time. Weird lines on the bridges. It did pretty good there. I've been pretty happy with the lane centering over the past couple hours. I've been driving it on the highway. So it's an absolute road trip machine. It's been super quiet, very smooth, very comfortable. And with most electric cars, it's kind of hard to tell how fast you're actually going because there's no engine noise. Really all you have is tire noise. There's no sort of wind seeping into the cabin yet. We're gonna test it by going a little bit faster on the interstate when we get there. I like having that shortcut for Android Auto right there. And should be able to merge in with this A4, no problem. I have the blind spot monitors built into the inside of the mirror. Now it does a good job at illuminating it. Sometimes manufacturers don't make their blind spot monitor viewable enough. They do a good job here. Now this is a bit obnoxious, is because it's not going to show up on the screen, but I have like these red bars on my head-up display saying I'm too close to the vehicle in front of me. I'm sure there's a way to disable it, but it's awfully distracting, telling me I need to back off of the other Audi in front of me. All right, now that we're going 80, 75 to 80, just depending on the speed of traffic here, just the slightest whispers of wind buffeting. Honestly, it's one of the quietest cars I've been in a long time for highway drive noise. Very minimal road noise, it's there. The wind noise is far less, and like I said, the comfort's great here. So as long as you have chargers along the way, this is gonna be a fantastic road trip vehicle. Like I said, you have all the acceleration and power you could think of, and the efficiency is where, well, I'm gonna have to drive this for the next 27 miles, going about 75, 80. and this will paint a better picture of efficiency and range. I know just like Buddy Holly. Oh, oh, and no Mary Tyler Moore. Do, 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 do. Well, it's good that the Audi now has auto brake hold. I believe they've been keeping it from our American models for quite some time. You just press on the brake pedal nice and hard here and it will hold the vehicle in place. I don't know if previous e-trons had that. They probably did, but I drive a lot of gas Audis too, and most of them, if not any of them, have auto brake hold, which is a huge, huge miss. But it even says auto brake hold, so I don't have to look down here. It even says hold in green letters on my head-up display next to, I should kill my cruise control here, next to the turn I need to take right here. That's pretty cool. It will all float on, all right, float on. Okay, so the Tesla superchargers to the left. That's where I took the Kia recently to charge. That was always fun because, well, there's nothing but Teslas there right now. But we're going to City Mattress. City Mattress across from Target has its own charging station, and it's FPL. That's our local Florida power district, and it's a lot cheaper. It's typically like 35 cents per kilowatt hour compared to Tesla's exorbitant 50 cents per kilowatt hour. But we have a Lucid, we have a Blazer, we have no charging stations available. So we struck out. All right, well, since the chargers are filled and my family is asking where I'm at and Eve wants to go home, we're not going to wait around for one of those cars to be done charging. That's just the reality of EV infrastructure right now, right? It's far from perfect. And there's a lot of other chargers I could have stopped at on the way home. I've never seen that one full before. So that's just, that's just our luck today. But here's the exciting things I have to tell you, all right? So I was getting about 3 miles per kilowatt hour going 80. That's crazy efficiency for a crossover EV. 3 miles per kilowatt hour times 94.4. We're going to put what our range is on the screen. And that's, obviously it's not cold weather range. That is going to be, warm weather, favorable range, right, with no hills and stuff. But that's pretty dang good. And I'm happy with the results we see here, the efficiency. In town, I was getting about 3.2 miles per kilowatt hour. And with mixed driving, I guess you say 3.2. On the highway doing really fast speeds, 80 miles an hour. It says my average mile per hour is 60, but I was trying to maintain 80 miles per hour the whole time. All right, so it just averaged it out to 60, but I was getting 3 miles per kilowatt hour. That is fantastic range, or should I say efficiency, which is gonna give us good range here. So Audi has really remedied all its major Achilles heels that it had with earlier renditions of their e-tron family. And for me, the looks of this Q6 Quattro especially look way better than the SQ6. There's less fake plastic, or should I say fake, I don't know. It just seems more authentic of a vehicle. The SQ6 grille up front, there's so much black plastic glossiness that it's quite tacky and distasteful, but that's just my opinion. This one does paint matched on the grille. I think it's a very sharp looking car. So, and it's also cheaper than the SQ6, so you get better range and your performance is just a smidgen less than the SQ6. So the Q6, whether you get rear wheel drive or the Quattro, is a real winner here if you're looking for a luxury EV. The interior is a bit of a hit or miss. I'm comfortable in here, but having this screen here reminds me of a Buick, and the vents are not in an ideal spot. I have too much glossy black plastic. So the materials is it something that Audi has struggled with for a long time, not providing a premium enough interior for my liking. It's certainly not terrible, but they could do a lot better. This being glossy black is just them cheaping out. All right, the head-up display is fantastic in here. This is one of the head-up displays that I think you should spend the extra money for. And yeah, ventilated seats are also amazing in here. The AC is good, assuming you can get enough air to your face. Cool. Eve, is there anything you want to say about the Audi Q6?
Nice car.
It's a nice car. She is not wrong in saying that. So looking in my area for some e-tron Q6s, doesn't look like there are that many deals to be had. About $4,000 off of MSRP. This is maybe one with the smaller wheels on it. Look pretty dorky, to be honest, but they'll get you good ride quality, get you good range. I honestly think that maybe the white might look the best, and that's obviously the review sample we had today. But still, we're seeing most of them upper 60s for the premiums. Those are rear-wheel drive premium quattros, still upper 60s, so might as well get the all-wheel drive, honestly, because it's not that much more expensive. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the going rate right here is upper 60s for these e-trons. If we look at a direct rival to this, a vehicle I haven't driven since it's been refreshed, but a vehicle that I've driven before the refresh and I absolutely loved it. Where the Q6 succeeds, this one might not do quite as well with range, but I think Genesis has improved it with the refresh in 2025. This still charges very, very fast, but the interior here is far more luxurious and opulent than what we have in the Q6. The Q6 does not feel that luxurious inside. This interior, I absolutely love. Easier to work with, like all the buttons and knobs, rotary dials here. Yeah, as a secondary input choice if you don't want to use a touchscreen. I mean, and the real buttons on the steering wheel too. Like, this is a much better user experience, and it's fast as heck as well. I think it's even faster than the Q6 e-tron, not the SQ6, but it's faster than the Q6. And then if you were to go mainstream, the Ioniq 5, you can get, the same range as the Audi, the same charging as the Audi, essentially. I think the interior is better here. Let me pull it up. This is this is the top of the line vehicle from Hyundai. I mean, this interior is just so much better, and it costs $20,000 less than the Audi. Audi's going to win on overall NVH, but is it $20,000 better? In my opinion's no. However, the Ioniq 5, I know styling, it's not for everyone, but I like it well enough that I'd easily save $20,000 over something like a Q6. So where does it fall? The Q6 e-tron Quattro. Well, it's massively improved. Is it S tier? Does it take my money? Absolutely not. Remember, I reviewed the SQ6 e-tron earlier this year, and it was over $80,000. And I mentioned I'd rather have an Ioniq. Yeah, I'd still would rather have an Ioniq that costs a lot less money. So what are my thoughts here? I think it's a better buy than the SQ6. I enjoyed driving this vehicle a lot better than the SQ6. Ride quality was better. It was quieter. It was almost as fast, and it looks better, and it costs less. So it's a better vehicle than SQ6. So let's put it next to the Kia EV6. It doesn't matter if it's below or above. It's still B category. There's everything in B categories is a solid buy. So that's all I have to say about the Q6. Audi's made it way better, and now it can be competitive against its luxury peers. Font's too small. I'll try to boost it for you guys if you want to see. Q6 right here. It's quiet, awfully smooth, especially when you have the perfect road surface. Man, it's really, really smooth. So it gets my Smooth award. It handles well. I didn't show that in this video, but it does. You throw this thing in the turns, it's fantastic. Great range for the class, and the charging is not an issue anymore, assuming you can find available chargers. But I'll get you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Stay tuned for more reviews here on the channel. Peace.